The previous administration pressed the Afghan government to release 5,000 Taliban prisoners, including some top war commanders. Meanwhile, it reduced our own force presence to 2,500 troops. We inherited a deadline. We did not inherit a plan.
What about your plan, Tony? Aren't you guys the ones in charge right now? Well, here to discuss is Army veteran and Florida State Representative Antony Sabatini. Representative Sabatini, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys.
So what do you think? What do you make of this testimony today? Is it just another effort to, as Biden put it to the Afghan president, change the perception?
Absolutely. It's just a big, ruse. They're doing whatever they can to try to confuse people into what happened. I think, what people saw is obviously what exactly happened. It was a non-planned, completely disastrous withdrawal, which needlessly resulted in lost life. And, they're not going to admit to that. They're going to do everything they can to avoid it, which is one of the reasons why I think we need a congressional commission to investigate not just the Biden officials, but everybody related to this withdrawal to figure out what really happened, because it really is one of the most disastrous military decisions made in this country in probably half of a century.
I mean, it's really alarming to me when you look at what happened here. We have a Biden administration that decided to overrule Trump's stance on the Iran nuclear deal. They're working overtime to re-enter that, working overtime to re-enter the Paris Accord, worked overtime to try to actually get rid of the stay in Mexico policy before the courts actually told them they had to do an about face, and all left in the middle. The only Trump policy they seemingly wanted to abide by was the Afghan withdrawal date, which, by the way, Blinken himself neglects to mention was not the August 31st deadline. They had already moved it from the spring to summer, which, by the way, was peak fighting season. So it would appear, once again, the people who made a list of all the lies underneath Trump somehow forgot to keep track of all the lies they're currently telling to the American people.
That's exactly right. Couldn't agree more. And, at the end of the day, it just depicts what it is that they're thinking about. All these people do think about is Donald Trump. They won't take responsibility for anything. They won't focus on how to learn from their mistakes and try to save lives going forward. Instead, it's just, 2016 all over again. They're always thinking about Donald Trump. It's one of the weirdest. It really is a mental illness, I think, at this point.
Anthony, how do you think President Biden, Kamala Harris, and so forth, this administration, how are they going to be held accountable for this, if at all?
Well, I think there has to be a congressional commission. Shamefully, Nancy Pelosi's not going to do it. I'd be shocked to know if they're actually going to investigate anything to do with the decision-making regarding this withdrawal, this type of withdrawal. So it's going to be up to the next congressman. I'm pretty, confident the Republicans are going to retake the House, and what they need to do is a full-fledged, really serious, long-term investigation into the decisions that were made, the politicized decisions that were made, including what you pointed out earlier, the changing of withdrawal dates, and also, why they decided basically to do nothing as the Taliban gained steam and was able to more quickly than anybody predicted take over the country. They did nothing to provide a counterpoint to that, and that needs to be investigated too. So it's a long-term investigation, and could you imagine if Donald Trump was president? Everybody would have been fired. They would have been demanding the firing of dozens of people, but because of Democrat privilege, it doesn't seem like anyone's going to be fired in the short term, at least.
Absolutely. To that point,
impeachment 3.0.
Yeah, to that point, got about 30 seconds for you here, but the latest reports from the New York Times appears as if the Biden administration may have just decided to blow up civilians, perhaps inadvertently, to appear strong in the wake of this disaster. It appears that all the people who accuse Bush of war crimes no longer seem to care about the fact that we've got innocent Afghans clinging to airplanes and falling below or being blown up on the ground by a commander-in-chief that doesn't appear to know what exactly he's doing.
Couldn't agree more. And as a proud veteran of the United States Army, it's really hard to watch, and it's hard to talk to my colleagues about. So I'm definitely excited to see what the next Congress does, and I think we definitely need to see some consequences for these political decisions that were made.
Anthony Sabatini, thank you so much for your service, and thank you for being with us this evening.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.